Wow. Don't worry, if I'll explain why the title of this video is what it is. Basically, well, first things first, good morning, happy Tuesday, everybody. It is a beautiful sunny day in the month of May, late May. You know, Memorial Day weekend is on the horizon. I love this time of year. You know, the weather is supposed to actually be pretty good, which is nice because I'm going to be heading up to Cuca Lake this weekend. It's going to be awesome. So, yes. So, it was yesterday I talked about the series finale of Star versus the Forces of Evil. You know, a very worthy ending to, honestly, I think one of the best animated shows of this entire decade. And actually, this decade was blessed with a lot of really good animated shows like Adventure Time, Regular Show, Steven Universe, and the list goes on. Oh, Gravity Falls, that's another one. Phineas and Ferb. Even now, like Milo and Murphy's Law, the DuckTales reboot. Man, I'm just listing off like gems here. Anyway, by the way, those are all shows you should have your kids watch. Just saying. Oh, one more, Legend of Korra. Because that came out in the 2010s. So, yes, lots of good shows for your kids to watch. So, yeah, do that. But also, as obviously pretty much as collectively everyone on the internet knows, the final season of Game of Thrones ended on Sunday evening. It was actually quite interesting because leading up to this Sunday, I kept saying you could spend the day watching the series finale of Star vs. the Forces of Evil and then watch Game of Thrones series finale later. You know, that'd actually be a pretty good use of a Sunday. Now, understand, I don't watch Game of Thrones, so just that first one really only applies to me. And, you know, the good news about, you know, the, series finale is, I mean, admittedly, yeah, it did leave a few things open, and yeah, people do want to see more, but literally within hours after the episode premiered, there was actually a petition that already has, like, I think last time I looked, like 18,000 signatures or whatever for, like, getting maybe like a TV movie to end the series, you know, show the aftermath of what happened, stuff like that. Maybe a 5th season. Personally, I'll just take a TV movie. That's if you're able to wrap everything up in a movie, I just say go for that, but that's just me. So, yes, this series finale really was pretty special. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for Game of Thrones. Wow! Like, it has been a good while since I've just seen such a giant, collective, vile, seething hatred for everything that's happened in that season. And keep in mind, I don't watch it, but, I mean, let's be honest, we live in the day of the internet and social media. I'm technically using the internet and social media right now to make videos, for goodness sakes. So, needless to say, everything has already been spoiled for me. Or at the very least, the things that everyone just keeps going on about. And while there are some people who think that overall the season wasn't that bad, or there are people who actually like this, how Game of Thrones ended, and people like it all, as a collective unit, Game of Thrones fans are, again, riddled with this vile, seething, unending hatred for what happened, to the point where there's actually like a petition that has also been signed by thousands of people that want the season either retconned, redone, something to fix whatever mess Game of Thrones has done. I mean, don't get me wrong, I've seen stuff like that happen before. In fact, in recent memory, one thing that comes to mind, believe it or not, is when the Pokemon series XY ended. Oh, actually ended with XYZ. Basically, for those of you who don't know, when Ash finally made it to the Kalos League, he actually lost in the finals. It was actually the farthest in the entirety of the Pokemon series. That's the farthest Ash has come to winning a league. He lost in the finals. Like before then, he lost in the semis. I believe it was the Sinnoh, but in the Sinnoh League, but that's not here or there. And fans are saying to redo it so Ash actually wins the Kalos League. That's how, I mean, I didn't really have a problem with that myself, just because, you know, well, pretty much XYZ was just so good overall that I can definitely overlook this. And plus, you know, I think the reason why they purposely don't have Ash win is because, you know, he's not meant to be like a perfect hero. He's not meant to be like the second coming of, you know, any like great hero or whatever. He's really, for all intents and purposes, he really is, you know what, just like those old Klondike bar commercials, an average kid doing above average things. So, yeah, that's why I didn't really feel so, I mean, I did feel bad that he lost, but it wasn't as bad as wanting to petition, you know, to have that whole thing redone. I don't want any of that. I mean, in this day and age where we spend like hundreds of millions of dollars in entertainment and media, you know, you reap what you sow. When you have something like a bad series finale or a good series finale, whatever the aftermath is, we all have to live with it. Sometimes it really is a good thing, like again, in this case of Star versus the Forces of Evil. Or sometimes it's a bad thing, like, you know, Game of Thrones. Seriously, the hatred of the series finale of Game of Thrones, or just the overall hatred of season 8 of Game of Thrones, is really so bad that I was actually going to use this video to brag about how I saw the better series finale, which I did. But I was like going to be like, go Star Forces of Evil fans, go Star Forces of Evil fans, it's your birthday, it's your birthday. I was going to do stuff like that, but I can't even do that, even though technically I just did. It really, like, I feel really bad for Game of Thrones fans. I really do. Like, how are you guys going to recover from this? I don't even know where to start. I mean, I guess it must have been an omen when everyone was making fun of the fact that you could see a Starbucks cup, like, on the table in that one scene. And again, I don't watch Game of Thrones. That's how powerful Game of Thrones is. I just know because I see it everywhere. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. But, I mean, I could say it would make for good entertainment value, but I actually would feel kind of bad being entertained by this at the expense of others. I mean, don't get me wrong, I do enjoy stuff like that from time to time, you know. There are certain movies that start with a word I shouldn't say on camera that definitely fall into that category. But, excuse me. There's a time and a place, and man, I just feel, I mean, again, I do feel better about the fact that I saw the better series finale to the point where, you know, thousands of people are petitioning for a TV movie to end the series, because it did leave a few things open, as I did say yesterday, which, I wouldn't mind a TV movie. That actually be kind of nice. So, so in the end, will the season 8 of Game of Thrones be retconned? I don't know. Although, personally, again, I never really watched Game of Thrones, so that's why I don't really have much of an attachment to it. But I do know when to feel sorry for others, and this is one instance where I really do feel sorry for you guys. So, I guess for what it's worth, there are people who, really stuck with Game of Thrones from the very beginning to the very end. And it is a phenomenon that's, popular and is going to remain popular until probably forever. Yes, for infinity days. That's how long Game of Thrones is going to be popular. Yeah, I'll also say this. I may have seen, the better series finale, but as popular as Star vs. the Force of Evil is, it doesn't really, it nowhere near has the impact of Game of Thrones, so you guys can have that. You guys can have that all day long. As for me, all I can do is just wait for Amphibia to come out next month, which, again, I'm really excited for. And there are other shows that are coming out that I'm looking forward to as well. America's Got Talent's going to be back in a week. Owl House, Infinity Train. Those shows have been hyped to no end. But again, Amphibia is the one I'm looking forward to the most. So, yeah. I guess all we can do now is simply sit back and play the waiting game. Again, I don't know what is next. I don't know what the future holds in terms of media and entertainment, but it is kind of a good thing I am saying that right now, because it is 2019. Almost over a decade ago, I never would have thought I'd be making videos every day on YouTube. Yet here I am doing that. So, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. There was a time when over a decade ago, I never thought I'd go back to Trinity Piling for any reason, much less a 5-year union, but I did, and that was great. And now my 10-year union is going to be in, 5 months from now, roughly. So, I don't know what the future holds. We do know some of what the future holds, but we don't know what the outcome is. And that can be a good or a bad thing, but we have to live with whatever happens. If it all goes belly up, there's nothing really you can do about it because it happened. I guess it really is a good thing that there is no Infinity Gauntlet or whatever. That'd be pretty sweet if that was a thing. So, one thing I ended up doing yesterday is a guy I watch is Chris Stuckman, who does movies and whatever. I mentioned him before, and he talked about the season 8 of Game of Thrones and how he thought it was disappointing as well. And then he thought that maybe he should do more shows in the future. I ended up suggesting that maybe he should watch Star vs. the Force of Evil because that ended yesterday. I don't think he would. But, it'd be cool if he did. Because there's a lot of old shows out there that in one way or another have been huge phenomena. And they deserve to be looked at again to some capacity. To be honest, I thought about doing something like that myself. It's just, I honestly don't know what show to start with. That'd be the real problem. Oh well, maybe eventually we'll get into. I'll find time to make ideas for something like that. But until then, let's just look forward to what's coming in a few days. Memorial Day weekend, Cuca Lake is coming. I'm actually going to be helping my father tomorrow bring his boat in, so look forward to that. And yeah, plenty of things to look forward to, and the only thing we can do now is just wait. For me personally right now, I'm just waiting for the new chapter of One Piece to come out and the newest episode of Hot Ones to arrive. Again, I don't know what the guest is yet, but maybe we'll find out today. I don't know. But what I do know is that you should like, favorite, share, and hit that subscribe button. Follow me on social media platforms. I am humbled I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy for today. I'm hoping we all have a wonderful Tuesday. And remember, for any of you guys that want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. Now, always have your back. Take care, and make good choices.